I was just a kid. Hi, I'm Jeff Jackson, and I counsel people who've lost someone they love to suicide. If you've lost a parent to suicide, the way you process that has a lot to do with how old you were when it happened. It's very different if you were a young child, a teenager, or an adult when it happened. So I'm going to talk about each of those situations in separate videos. In this one, I want to talk to those of you who were still children when you lost your mom or dad to suicide. And by children, let's say 12 or under. Now, if you're that age right now and this happened recently, I hope you're watching with an older family member. This video isn't really for kids. You're gonna need a grown-up to help you talk through things afterwards. Grown-ups are good for some things, so please find one and ask them to watch with you. But I'm betting that if you're watching this, you're now much older, yet still struggling to process your mom or dad's suicide, and this video is for you. As young children, we naturally look at our parents like gods. They're huge, they drive cars, they have money, and they provide our food and clothes. One of the bittersweet things about growing up is that we learn that our parents are just people with flaws and idiosyncrasies and blind spots just like everyone else. And that's okay. And we intuitively know from a young age that one day, hopefully when we're very old, our parents won't be here anymore. But when that happens in an unnatural way, when they and we are far too young, it turns our world upside down. And when that end comes by suicide, there is a layer of confusion that's added on top of it all because it seems impossible to understand. But I'm going to help you make some sense of it. Now, when a child loses a parent to suicide, one of two things usually happen. Either your family was candid about it and explained to you as best they could exactly what happened, or they tried to shield you from it by telling you a version of what happened that wasn't exactly true and didn't include suicide in the story. I hope for your sake it was the former. There are ways to explain suicide to children, even very young children, that are honest, yet frame it in a way that their developing minds can comprehend. I have a whole other video about how to explain suicide to children. So if that describes you, then trust me, you're far better off today for having learned the truth right away. But if you weren't told the truth and only found it out later as an adult, then you may be grappling with a whole other set of emotions. Nobody likes being lied to, not about important life events, and not in a conspiratorial way that was sustained for years. You'd probably feel angry and betrayed. It might even have you questioning other aspects of your life. If this describes you, all I can suggest you do is focus on the intent of the family members who kept that secret from you. Their primary goal was to protect you. They may have been misguided in that effort, and there might also have been a desire to avoid perceived gossip and scandal, but that doesn't negate the fact that their intent was to protect you, an innocent child, from that harsh reality. It's important that you don't let that set of emotions get tangled up with and prevent you from processing your grief emotions. Try as best you can to separate, compartmentalize that, and put it aside for now. Because either way, whether you were told the truth or shielded from it, you probably have all the same questions that all suicide loss survivors have. Notably, why did they do it? One of the difficulties you have is that as a child, you weren't aware of or privy to all that's going on in your parents' lives. No child is. When we're children, we only see our parents from our own limited perspective, and that's as it should be. But now, in light of their suicide, you may feel compelled to try to find out everything you can about what was going on in their lives at that time and long before. And that's okay. Ask questions, talk to their family and friends. Just remember this. You will probably find some painful events in their life, either from right before their suicide or from their distant past. But don't mistake that for the cause of their suicide. Your parents had a whole long life before you came into the world. So if you want to know the truth, then you need to consider the whole truth. And a big part of that is that your parent was likely suffering for a long time from a form of psychological illness that, through no fault of their own, made them look at life through a distorted lens that robbed them of the ability to feel joy and hope the way that most people do. And if you do talk to family members about it, it's okay to take in the story of your parents' life, but take any theories they offer about why it happened with a big grain of salt. They're likely just as confused and ill-informed about suicide as most people. Another aspect of losing a parent, you may be wondering if you, as their child, are somehow genetically predisposed towards suicide yourself. The short answer to that is probably not. But I recommend you check out my other video, Is Suicide Genetic?, for some clarity on that. Losing a parent is always heartbreaking. Losing them to suicide adds a cross-current of confusion that makes dealing with your grief even harder. Please watch my other videos that address each and every aspect of processing your grief and learning to live through it. But always know that your parent's suicide doesn't mean that they didn't love you. They loved you more than you can possibly know or imagine. In fact, having you in their life might have helped them fight against their illness for longer than they otherwise could have. And also know that they live on through you. A big part of you is them, not only genetically, but emotionally and in every other way. You will carry them forward with you for the rest of your life, in a good way. And that can never be taken from you. The core truth of their suicide, and really the only thing that matters, is that they just needed to end their pain. The last thing they wanted to do was cause any for you. You are their legacy. Don't let that legacy be one of pain. Work on healing yourself. You can do it. And if you're here watching this, you've already begun. I have so much more to share with you that can help. Watch my other videos and subscribe or follow if you want to learn more.